Let's break down what to know with our winter storm as we continue this first alert. We've got freezing rain and ice as the precip type that we're most concerned about. This is not going to be a snow event. We may see some sleet pellets here or there, but that's going to be probably more so across southwestern Mississippi. Accumulation totals right now still expected to be below 1/10 of an inch. Now, any ice accumulation is bad enough, but if you see higher totals, that is certainly going to be a worst case scenario. It looks like as of right now, we have two brief windows where moisture and freezing temperatures could overlap. One may be a bit better of a chance. That could be during the morning hours between 4 a.m. and 10 a.m. Second one is going to be highly dependent on the moisture, and there's some uncertainty with that, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then the bigger overall threat is really going to be the cold, the hard freezes that we are likely to experience early next week. That's where everyone is going to be impacted with the freezing rain potential. It's really going to be in spots, and it's going to be more of a sporadic impact. So why do bridges freeze first? Well, most roads, they lose heat evenly, but the problem is that a bridge has an exposure underneath it. So unlike normal roads, which have ground to help insulate them, cold air can actually reach above and below the bridge, and so that can allow temperatures along elevated roadways to drop a little bit quicker than the roads that have that insulation of the ground. And so that's something we got to keep an eye on, is how this will impact the bridges. And maybe even most importantly, we may not get a lot of freezing rain in some bridges, but we may have remaining puddles on them that could freeze once we see the temperature start to dip below freezing. The big question there is how much can we evaporate that with the upcoming cold blast of wind and air that moves through, because that air will be dry once the Arctic air moves in. So here's a look at the freezing rain totals from the GFS model. You'll notice how it's really highlighting here across sections of central Louisiana into western parts of Mississippi, going from Saturday into Monday morning. That's where we got the moderate impacts. Light accumulation kind of right here across our viewing areas. So again, we think impacts will be minimal and very localized, not necessarily a widespread area, but these areas here across the northwest corner of our viewing area, that's where we're probably most concerned, at least picking up a couple hundredths of an inch of ice accumulation. So that's what we're going to be most concerned about. And here's kind of a breakdown of where we think we could see some of those issues that could pop up. So the freezing rain ice accumulation that is expected, which would be more or less bridges and power lines. So we're talking about roadway issues. We're talking about maybe losing some power, is going to be kind of northern fringe of our viewing area, right along and north of the state line. Now, limited and localized ice accumulations could be possible around the interstate corridor in some of our parishes just above Baton Rouge and to the east of Baton Rouge. So think more or less a bridge here or there versus maybe all or most of our elevated roadways like we could see just north of Baton Rouge. As you go farther south, higher confidence in this staying a rain-only event. So it's these areas kind of in this pink and bluish shade of color where we think we could see at least some impacts tied to this freezing rain threat. But again, I think the cold blast that's heading our way is going to be more impactful just because of the scope and just how bitterly cold it's going to be. So we've got to take the preparations, maybe trying to do them either tomorrow or Saturday when the weather may cooperate more so than Sunday into Sunday night, which is the bottom line when you need to do them, because it's Monday morning and Tuesday morning. We're talking about hard freeze criteria where we've got people, pets, plants, and pipes that need to be taken care of because the freeze duration anywhere from 8 to 14 hours, but also the temperatures themselves are going to be down into the low 20s to upper teens. So that's why we've got the secondary first alert highlight in our forecast for the early part of next week. So you can stay with us. You can stay in tune with what is going on in terms of the developments with our free First Alert weather app. Even when we're not on the air right here on WAFB, we're giving you all the information you need to know 24/7 right now on our free First Alert weather app. So notice how we've got a few isolated showers in the forecast for tomorrow. Not much to worry about there. Temperatures remain mild. Temperature trend as we go from Sunday into Monday. We're going to see a free fall in temperature. How quickly does that take place? Could we see some refreezing of some lingering puddles? That could be a concern for roadways, elevated portions at the minimum for Monday morning's commute. But 22 degrees for Monday morning, 20 degrees for Tuesday morning. That's for Baton Rouge. So areas north and east, we always say a few degrees cooler. So yeah, some upper teens could be in the forecast. Hard freeze conditions Monday and Tuesday morning of next week.